Gonna be our episode 6 prediction theory type video. And we're also going to talk about that bullshit leak that I saw out there. And some of you may have seen the leak as well. It alludes to who may be getting CPR on the table when Boyd is doing his chest compressions or whatnot. And I think I'm going to save that part for the very, very end, just so I don't ruin the video. And I honestly don't think the leak is real anyways, because the way that they kind of say that it happens and it's kind of bullshit to me. And on top of it being bullshit, the video it's not even a video, it's an article. And it's a Collider article, so it's a reputable source. But the article has been removed, if it ever existed. So, because, people do all these things for clicks and attention. So, but it did have the link that I saw actually had a lot of clicks on it. So I'm not sure if it was ever there or not. I just happened to come across it early, right before I was making this video and doing a little research. But with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into our episode 6 predictions. Feel free to drop yours down in the comments. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate it. It really helps the show. And today, I think I'm going to try to prove to you, or not really prove to you, but I'm going to give you my case for why I think episode 6 is going to shift everything from this monster show that we all love into a civil war between the residents of the town. And one of the reasons I say that is because we are officially halfway through the season. I have heard that episode 6 through 9 pick up a lot. And with that being said, in order for them to pick up, there has to be some bodies dropping them. We have to have our monsters back. So there are going to be a lot of things coming up that I think are key for the end of this season. But we all know that the man in yellow, aka Sophia's favorite part, is this civil war where everybody massacres each other and all that stuff like that. That way he can have his little liver meal. But the name of this episode coming up is The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. And as we discussed earlier in another video, that is a direct reference to a novel about profound and inescapable isolation. So as we know, our survivors are starting to get a little bit too smart and they're learning a lot now. And I'm sure the man in yellow is probably keyed in on some of this, and I do not think that he's just going to sit back and let all of this happen, unless it's part of the plan, of course. But I think that he's going to start ratcheting up some of the bullshit and making people turn on each other. And I guess I can't just say that without giving you guys an example, but one example would be, look at the friction between Julie and Randall. He hates the whole story walking idea. He obviously can't story walk, so maybe everything she's telling him is crap, or maybe it's not, but he's just forced to sit back and watch her have seizures, all while she wants to go on this little mystical journey of hers, which is she's actually doing it. But Randall doesn't know what to do in this situation, and he's torn. And you could tell from the last time we saw him, he is very, very pissed off about the situation. And I get it. He's in a rock and a hard place, but it's either he trusts her and, potentially let her seize out and die, or try to keep her safe, which is going to piss her off. And she's eventually probably just going to go do it by herself without him. And then what happens to her then? And that brings me to Jade and Tabitha. And we know they've been on and off this season and have had some edgy moments, but we all know that they're trying to, free these kids. And now Jade thinks that he has the key to the kingdom and he knows exactly how to do that. But the one thing that we did learn from all of this, that the town always turns on Jay's character, or whoever it is, whether he's a Civil War character, a guy with a stake in his eye, it doesn't matter. The town always kills him. Not the monsters, not anybody else. The town always kills Jade. And we also learned that Tabitha has it worse. And we haven't really learned what that means yet, but I don't know what could be worse than being killed by the people that you once had a really close relationship with, at least some of them. But it really puts Boyd in a messed up situation because he's supposed to be the town leader. So is he going to be leading these charges against these two? I don't really see that happening. But like I said, those are just some of my examples of where I'm saying that there could be situations where people are going to be starting to feel isolated. We have Fatima making her golem all by herself, and Ellis still doesn't know about it, at least not to this point. So I don't know what they're going to find out next episode, in episode 6, but at least at this point, and that could be Fatima getting CPR. And like I said, more on that later. Fatima's doing all of this by herself, and Ellis doesn't know about it. Only people who know about it are Boyd and Kenny. So isolation, like I said. So there are a lot of isolated characters in the story right now. Look at Henry and everything that he's going through with finding out that his wife was eaten. And I always said in all my videos, does he not care about his daughter? Why hasn't his daughter been like a subject of conversation? And I really think that's left out on purpose. And the daughter name is Eloise, by the way, if you didn't know that. But you know, and then Henry's recent behavior could be isolating Victor because Victor is now trying to console his father, but his father's drunk and pissed off and angry with everybody. And now Victor, you're going to see him on top of the house standing there. And why he's up there, we don't know yet, but it's kind of an isolating position to be in when you're standing on a roof by yourself. So I think whatever's going to start happening is going to start happening in this episode. And the man in yellow is probably going to be hard at work, at least behind the scenes. Maybe directly because, Sophia's going to be there. We're going to see her in this episode. I think she's going to be sharing a glass of water. And that could be a metaphor of sorts back to a past episode when, a whole water poured out drink or whatever. But she's going to be having water with Henry. And I've seen all the comments, and while they started all over the place and could have been Donna, Fatima, Patty, who got half her face burned, could have been anybody. It seems like now everybody's pretty much landing on Henry as the person that could be receiving CPR. And I do think he's probably the most likely person. And I'm kind of leaning that way too now, but obviously we'll see you on Sunday or Saturday night, whenever you guys decide to watch it. I just don't know if we can trust what we can't see, because this show is known for giving us misdirects. Now, the last little thing I'll say about my little Civil War theory is, I think from some of the promotional footage and the images that we've seen come out, I just think that the man in yellow is starting to enact his agenda. Like, he isn't just scaring people like Marielle and Sarah for fun. We have Marielle chained up in the back of the ambulance and in the clinic. We have Sarah going crazy in the house, and he has her doing a whole water experiment. Like, this isn't just for fun. Like, I think this is some type of, act of compliance, like getting people to comply with what he wants. We saw this happen in season 1 with Sarah with the carving in the arm when she was going to kill Ethan. So he or she or whatever form he's in at the time has a way of getting people to comply to what it wants. And then on top of people being tortured, we also have people that are clearly feeling desperate for information, for knowledge. Jade and Boyd are going to have their little back and forth about this, whatever this suicide mission that Jade wants to go on, probably down the tunnels for. And I just think some of these things are going to start to cause rifts between individuals, groups of people, and, it's going to be interesting how a lot of this plays out for the rest of the season. One theory that I've had, and I've failed to mention it in my video, so I'll mention it now before I forget. What if the cycle ends this season? I'm not sure what that would mean for season 5 and where season 5 would go. Obviously, we're going towards closure, but at least some form of closure. But what if the cycle ends in this season? So we'll actually see how the cycle truly ends, and I doubt that Man in Yellow will be defeated, but maybe they get to the end of the cycle and they actually beat the cycle. But then I guess season 5 would be all about what happens after. And honestly, me saying that out loud is kind of boring, so we're not even going to worry about that. But getting to what everybody really wants to talk about, and that's who's receiving CPR. And we've all had our theories. Like I said, it's Patty. It could be anybody. We see the horror on Chrissy's face. Marielle is there looking scared. Kenny is in the room. I've heard that people have thought they saw Ellis and Fatima in the back of the frame. I don't think that was them, but I still haven't went back to actually look at that shot yet, and I will, I guess, after recording this, but I don't remember. So you guys let me know in the comments if that was Ellis and Fatima. I think in the scene with Kenny, like in the back of the frame. But Boyd's doing his chest compressions. Tabitha's there looking shocked with her hands over her mouth. So somebody's there, and we've all theorized, and I think we've all kind of landed on Henry. So speaking about this damn leak that I read, and I guess I shouldn't say I read it because I didn't actually see the article, but I saw enough to see that the leak says that it's Donna that is dying from a heart attack. Now, I know there have been theories that Donna was going to be the one receiving CPR, and it very well could be her. I don't think it's Donna, and I've been very vocal about not thinking it's Donna because Donna has been kissed by death several times in this show, and they have yet to kill her off. And especially this season, it's been alluded to the fact that she's probably going to die. Not necessarily this season, but the fact that she's probably going to die. I just don't think that after being that close to death, last episode being choked up by the whole doll thing, that she would die from a heart attack in the very next episode. I find that hard to believe. I think the leak is fake. I think it's crap, but maybe it's real. So I'm just letting you guys know that that's what it basically said in the headline title of it, that Donna dies from a heart attack while receiving CPR. I don't believe it at all. I don't. I think that's, why would she die from a heart attack after being choked by the whole doll thing? I think Henry makes more sense, especially since he's interacting, and we know he's going to be interacting from the photos with Sophia, because so that would put him in direct contact with who we know to be the man in yellow, and that would make more sense maybe for him to have a heart attack, because we've seen her do the whole heart attack, or no, she brought somebody back to life, but then put them whatever. Like, so we know that she's capable of killing and causing death. So I just don't think it's Donna. I'm going to lean towards Henry still. It very well could be many other characters like Jade potentially. It could be Victor as well. So there are a few other characters that it could be. And it could very well be Donna, or it could be Burnt Face Patty. I don't know. But personally, I don't think it's Donna. My final prediction is going to be Henry. And that's what I'm going to roll with going into the episode. So argue with me down in the comments and let me know who you guys think it is. But I'm going to roll with Henry. I do not think it's Donna. And I'll again say I think the leak is wrong. So, and it's weird to get a leak for the show because we really haven't had many leaks. Or if we have, I haven't seen them. So maybe I'm being a better detective now. But that is all for this one. Thank God this 2-week break is almost over, and we'll have an episode here in a few days. And let me know what you guys think about everything down in the comments. Tell me what you think is going to happen for the remainder of the season and where you think we're going to go. Do you think the cycle is going to end in this season, or will that go into the next season and maybe they'll, obviously closes out there? Or what do you guys feel? Like, what are your predictions for episode 6 and maybe for the rest of the season? Let me know down in the comments, and I try my best to respond to as many comments as I can. And like I said before, if you like these type of videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out. I thank you all for coming, and I will see you in the next one.